Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang. Welcome to this broadcast, and the subject is why do we self-sabotage? And the answer is related to this, the wounded self-image, the wounded self-image. So self-sabotage, when I say that, I'm describing the process by which we kind of get in our own way and we keep ourselves from becoming successful in what we need to do, especially when it comes to personal health. And I was reminded of this whole concept today when I talked with a patient that I've known a long time and is also a good friend who has been having difficulty putting into action things that she knows she needs to do. And so an analogy that kind of came to mind was that we're kind of aware of what we need to do. It's sometimes we're very aware, and it's like having a leaky roof and the water's dripping through the roof, and we look at the roof at the leak and we say, I've got to fix that leak, but we never do. And there are things going on in our lives that are just that obvious. It's like a roof that's leaking. We know we need to do something about it, and we don't. Or we start, but we never finish. And so that process where we stop ourselves or we never even get started, that's self-sabotage. And the reason I am convinced is because of a wounded self-image. So self-image is a phrase that speaks for itself, so to speak. It is how we see ourselves. It is not how we would like ourselves to be. That is not our self-image. Our self-image is what our deep subconscious sees us to be. And when we try to pretend that that's not true, it doesn't work. You can't wish your way out of a bad self-image. You can't play games with imagining a happier future without addressing the reasons your psyche thinks that you don't deserve good. So because we have a poor self-image, we just have difficulty believing that good should be coming to us. Especially the hardest thing for us to believe, I think, is that God loves us without any kind of reservation. But because we can't believe that, we can't believe all of the other good things that He would want to bring into our lives, to either quickly or drip into our lives slowly. So we don't really believe that we're deserving of excellent health, so we don't have it. We think we're deserving of being overweight, of being diabetic, of having pain, of having fibromyalgia. Plug whatever condition in that you want to, and we are able to predispose ourselves to these conditions. Now, I'm not trying to blame anybody for the conditions that they have. What I'm trying to say is that once we've got them, we have something inside of us that prevents us from doing the things that would help us to get away from the condition. Such as a diabetic can easily, quotation marks, easily reverse their diabetes if they're a type 2 diabetic by the right diet and exercise program. I've seen that many, many times, and if they can't reverse it, they can control it without medication. Yet, those patients frequently don't choose to do that. Why? I believe it's because they, deep inside, they don't feel like they deserve it. Now, some people are just plain lazy. They don't want to do what it takes, but I think for a lot of people, they don't move because of some other reason. And I think it's wounded self-image, something that I've seen over and over again as the time has gone by. So how do we get out of this fix if our self-image is wounded, if we believe that we're not worthy of God's love, if we believe that we're not worthy of goodness coming into our lives? Do we just try to, by willpower, overcome this blockage? Well, maybe about 10% of people can do that, but in my experience, about 90% of people can't. So that's one of the reasons why I recommend a whole person health or holistic approach to wellness, where health of body, mind, and spirit are all valued and all sought at the same time, partly because each one overlaps into the other area. So physical health affects emotional and mental health. and vice versa. And spiritual health dramatically affects both of those. So one of the things that I encourage people to do is to really start to try to develop their spiritual life, because until we actually do experience the love of God, it's hard to believe that it's real. Now, one of the reasons why I said Christian health for part of the title for this video is that I'm convinced from my own experience that the deepest experience we can have of the mercy and love of God is through Jesus Christ. Other religions have elements of truth to them, but I believe that Jesus shows us the way right into the Father's heart and into the deepest possible experience of love that we can have. And that alone can be healing of this self-image. But if it is not completely healing by itself, it at least sets the stage for some of the other techniques that I can teach you that will help you to overcome this wounded self-image. So I encourage you to take a look at your own life. What are your resources, physical, emotional, spiritual? Physical resources all of us have is eating right and exercising, in addition to many other things. Emotional resources include having good relationships with friend and family, and taking a little bit of time to play without electronic gadgets. Spiritual resources would include things like practicing forgiveness and having a thankful heart. There's a lot more to all of these things. Obviously, I'm just scratching the surface, but just attempting to get all of us, myself included, thinking about it more so that I can do and we can do a better job of living this whole person health life so that we can experience all the blessings of health that God has for us. So I wish you well. God bless and have a great day.